All right, hello. Oh, hey, Colette. Colette is also in Ohio. And Fred's in Ohio. Okay. Is there anybody else in Ohio? Yes, I hope you filled out the poodle dole. I just realized I've got like weird sunlight today in the setup. So starting early, just on the off chance that I had some technical difficulties and wanted to work through that. Super weird. I'm just kind of getting used to this diffused light here. So, well, that's interesting. Yeah, hello to Bill B, to Mao, to Ruth, Fred, Emma, bonjour, Paul. Let's see, and I think we've got the before mentioned poodle poll. We've got, I think, like 9 responses so far, maybe. I think you can see the other responses, maybe. So just as an offhand thing. But yeah, so and thank you, Emma, for confirming that you can hear me okay. I should be thinking about that. But yeah, so looking for a time in June to get together and talk about practice. Big thing there is kind of really to see if there's a way to focus on practice and just play around with that. Oh yeah, so you might not be able to read it. Let's see if I can turn right. So it says, have a beautiful day. Maybe if I stand close or turn a little bit, you can see it. It's meant to be kind of blue on blue or monochrome if you want to get fancy with your design terminology. It's from a yes, it is so corny and cute. It is from a fundraiser for Sokokoji Monastery in Battle Creek, Michigan. And I sit with Sokokoji on the, not an official student or anything, but I sit with them in their public, weekday public sits. They do 12 or 15 minute sit at, I guess it would be 6 o'clock Eastern time. And that's 3 p.m. my time. And then there's a question answer session. Thing I love about the teacher Ahsoka-zan, and then also one of his Dharma students, Chie-zan. Sorry, Chie-zan, if you happen to be listening to this somehow. Who's a Dharma heir of Ahsoka-zan's. But Ahsoka-zan would always say that he would take questions and provide responses. And I loved the precision of that, because whether or not it's an answer is extra, maybe would be one way of saying it, or it's up to whether or not it's an answer, it's up to the person who asked. So hello, Gabrielle and Suzanne, welcome. Welcome back, Lynn. Hello, Annalisa. Yeah, and we got both Lyns, don't we? We are double Lyns? Yes, we're double Lyns. Excellent. Welcome from the future. I hope all things are there. And yeah, we started early, and I'll we'll have a rolling start here. But yeah, so the Sokokoji, I think they were paying off their mortgage, or trying to pay off their mortgage, and that was when they did this shirt. I found them as part of, during the pandemic, the Open Heart Project was doing different sits throughout the day, and they had the end of the day or end of my day kind of slot. And they're a combination of Zen and Vajrayana. So yeah, that's an answer to a question that may not, or that's a response to a question that may not have been asked. So welcome. What is this? This is the spin-off of the Do Nothing Project, More Than Maybe, which is just my placeholder name for this because I haven't been able to find a better name for it yet. You're welcome to make suggestions. So feel free to do that. I was going to see if, let me really quick, I'm going to provide you a link to the poodle poll, or the poodle doll, actually. I think that's what you thought it was. I think it's an excellent way to read this. So there was a question months ago about trying to get some in-person, more real-time group gathering together of the folks that come. We've got somewhere between about 12 and maybe 17 people that come on the regular, maybe 18 on a good day. We have a few people who are pretty regularly watching the recordings. Hello to you in the future, from the past. And the thought was, let's play around with that as a deal and as a thing. So I have access to Zoom. We can make that sort of happen. The matter now is trying to find a time that works for people. That's always the gotcha when you start to deal with different time zones and everything else. So, oh no, sorry. But yeah, yay future people, right, Esquin? So hopefully the doodle poll doesn't mess with that with everybody. but yeah, so that's what that is. A chance for us to get together. We'll do a shortish meditation, not necessarily the 25 minutes, but we'll sit for maybe 12 to 15 minutes, and then we can kind of open it up to really kind of ask or see how if people have practice questions or kind of a practice check-in. We'll play around with that. So that's that. Then I think Jeff is our guest, Jeff is not our guest. Jeff is guiding on Sunday, but I will not be there. Lauren Rosen will be filling in for me in chat. So for heads up on that. So we'll be we have a new to us travel trailer that we'll be taking up to the mountain. And Saban is not here, but Saban may be watching in the future. Saban also lives in the southern Arizona region, and it's starting to get very warm. And where we're headed on the mountains, it will be less warm. It'll be actually maybe dangerously cool. So, and I don't even have to say, if you could like this video, because already 11 of you have, so thank you for that. And I think that's all of the housekeeping sort of stuff. There was a comment last time about, could we do the deck? So I had grabbed, reception should be good on the mountain, but it is not where I will be, because I will be in this I will be in a valley, so we are on a mountain, but behind the valley that actually would give us good reception. So, and I've gotten really spotty connections. Yeah, so mountain good, valley bad. There you go. That's the takeaway from today. You need nothing else. You get mountain good, valley bad. Yeah. So I think that this was the technique that I was talking about doing last time, but we didn't. So I kept this, so I didn't really reshuffle or anything. Just for good measure, Ruth, there was a joker in that deck. I'm not sure why I decided to leave that in. But just here was the one that I was going to do. I've been enjoying audiobooks. Ruth, you have that's my friends who are Spanish speakers. That's their laugh that they always put. So I appreciate that. If that's what that is, this is what I think it is. And I realize now too, people in the future, I'm always pantomiming to the chat, and you can't see the chat on replays. Sorry. Anyway, so I've been enjoying audiobooks from the library. And hey, welcome, Brian Sweeney. So if you don't have a library card, and you're getting tired of buying audiobooks, and or Kindle books, to be honest. There are a lot of meditation. There are a lot of meditation books and things that are available, at least from the Pima County Library, which was where I live, and the app that they have. So it used to be they had this app called Overdrive, which was like okay, and now they have something called Libby, and Libby is probably as good as Audible, I would say, as far as an app experience. Oh yeah, okay. So Emma, we got another fan of. So there is one thing which is you got to like put a hold on the books, and then you don't get them until like really popular books, like maybe Dune. So you might have had a hold on Dune for a while, and that was tough to get. But anyway, I think I'd mentioned. Audiobooks in Libby past, or some people who have messaged me. Yeah, I kind of miss Overdrive too. The Overdrive ebook reader I liked. I didn't necessarily like the Overdrive audiobook player, but maybe that was just the device I was using it on. Hoopla is another good one. Hoopla, you can get a 7-day pass for the Great Courses, which has all sorts of Buddhist stuff. If you're into that, or art history, or language stuff, or whatever. So anyway, okay, yeah. So Annalisa, Libby is great, but I've been listening to Star Wars audiobooks partly because I've been really interested in what does the Star Wars universe think about, or what is Jedi meditation, or meditation that force-sensitive beings do in the Star Wars universe. So one of the things is kind of heightened senses. So just here would kind of fall into that. Some of it is actually guided more on the realm of like what we might call guided imagery or active meditation. That is a little bit like our feel good and feel good, see good, hear good, be good techniques. So it's really, really interesting. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so we don't have access to cloud, but okay, so Hoopla is available. Interesting. Well, anyway, talked a lot already. 10 minutes. But so I might throw in a few prompts that are Jedi related meditation things, just because it's a thing I'm now collecting Jedi meditation techniques at the moment. So we'll do just here. It's a 25-minute sit. If you're wondering how in the heck do I get to do this, or why should you listen to anything I have to say, one is you cannot listen. Always an option. You can allow me to be in the background, and then the other thing is I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach, and I've been meditating for 15 years almost. Coming up in like August, it'll be 15 years. So my mom meditated when she was pregnant with me. Does that count? So yeah. All right, just here, I forgot. So shout out to Brian Groves, as I've forgotten to do this. Or no, not Brian Groves, Jeff Groves. Jeez, how could I forget? So I've turned my phone into airplane mode, and then we're gonna put 25 minutes on the clock. I'm in like a we got 25 minutes on the clock. I'm in like a Wednesday scatterbrain kind of a thing. So we'll see how. So we'll spend a little bit of extra time settling down, I think, as we meditate. I'll ring the bell. We'll sit for 25 minutes. At the end, yes, pre-meditation. One of the audiobooks hopefully I'll report on this at some point, but there's a audiobook that I got, but it's on Audible. It's not on. It might be on Libby. I don't know. Maybe in where you're at. Called Reverse Meditation. It's from Vajrayana teacher and scholar. I think his name is Andrew Hollaback. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, the pre-meditation makes me think of that. All right, so we're gonna do just here. That's I'll give you the setup, so you don't need to know anything about the technique. I'll bake that into our time together, and we'll begin. I'm just happy we don't have any technical difficulties today. It's super nice. It's kind of like how you get used to the lights always turning on. All right. Welcome to Brooke. just in time. All right, so we're gonna, if you didn't start your pre-meditation on all of the things that I said, we'll start our meditation just with establishing a posture that allows us to be upright. You're welcome to stand or do this as a walking meditation, lying down, or in your favorite yoga posture or pose, I guess. But I'll focus on the seated posture, either in a chair or on a cushion. And as Susan Piver says, the chair is equally as spiritual as the cushion. Really just dipping in for a little bit of an inner weather check, not chasing anything away, just seeing what's here already. And then a few deliberate breaths, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Just seeing if you can extend or accentuate the exhale. Just offering a waypoint that you can come back to if you aren't in a situation where you can do just here, HEAR. That's our technique for today. So you can come back to this feeling of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. And that really just allows us to be in the position that we're in and bringing concentration and clarity and equanimity to our experience. All right, so for our technique, we're focusing on either sounds around us or mental talk. So if you find that you're drawn away by a body sensation, again, not a problem. There is an opportunity to kind of delight in noticing that you're out of bounds or out of where you were intending to focus. And then with care, bringing yourself back to sounds around you or mental talk. So it's just here. So here in and here out. And the setup really is to notice where our attention is. Soak our attention into that. And then optionally labeling it. And for this, we're using here. You can always drop that label. And if for some reason you don't have any here out or here in, if you want, you can label that rest. And that is it. I'll let you explore on your own and check in a little bit. So you're always welcome to continue with the technique, but just offering a few things for exploration. So sometimes talk about ION, the ION acronym. And so if you're noticing you're feeling a lot of rest, even with here out or here in kind of in the background, you could choose to focus more on the restful qualities. And those restful qualities are probably showing up in the body. So that'd be a small tweak. Or maybe you have had a pleasant sensation, a feel in arise, or a pleasant sensation that's really kind of related to the physical body, a feel out. And you can shift your focus to that, leaving the here space and moving to that. So those are two kind of options that fork off of continuing with just here. And then finally, you could choose to focus only on here out or only on here in. Again, no problem staying where you're at with just here, but if there's an interest or an opportunity or a necessity to shift, those are some options for you. All right, a short little Star Wars inspired series of cues. So just turning our attention on the emotional body, feel in, just seeing what's here at the moment. A little bit of a survey, mirroring our inner weather check. So maybe there's excitement, maybe there's a little bit of a lingering, smallish dread of some chores or something you don't want to do. Just getting an idea of the lay of the land. What's here now? And then picking one of those emotions and just with the out breath, of imagining that you're filling a jar or filling a glass with that emotion. And then when it's full, you're kind of pouring it out, dumping it over. And if there's been more than one emotion you found, trying that one more time. In the out breath, you're sort of an emotional soda fountain. And when you reach the top, emptying that out or pouring that over. And with those things emptied, just allowing ourselves to let go of that technique and let go of all of the techniques. And this is our opportunity to shift into do nothing. So we're letting go of any intention to control our attention. And if we notice that we're trying to kind of shift or guide or mold our attention, letting that go. So you're untethering and allowing yourself to kind of float in experience. sit has ended. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for making time on your Wednesday to be here. Thank you for making time to watch this in the future, folks that are watching the recording. Yeah. And may the fruits of our practice be for the benefit of all beings. Quick little merit dedication too. Super welcome, Brooke, and you're welcome, Bill B. And thanks for folks allowing me to nerd out on the library stuff a little bit there. You're welcome, Ruth and Emma, Gabrielle, as always. Yeah, Gabrielle, you recognize the Andrew Hollebeck name too. I've seen stuff from him, like blog posts and things, but for whatever reason, I hadn't found books from him until recently. So, okay. So there's a whirring in the background. That's probably one source of that. Is probably the ceiling fan. The other, maybe it's the laptop. Okay, so it was useful. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I dropped my phone while trying to write the reminder email last night and ended up with a blue screen of death. And so I keep using this laptop, just pushing my luck. So, okay, so that was a good hear out sound. Good. Oh yeah, okay. That's excellent, Mal. Glad you could make it too. Yes, and how is Zenny the cat doing? I think there's a lot of people who would like to know. The other thing too is I think I'm trying to set up. I've got like kind of a standing desk area that I'm trying to like set up, and that machine was making the fans on that machine were making a lot of noise. That's the replacement, which is my used Mac that I bought. That's the replacement for this eventually. So yeah. And we got about 6 minutes until top of the hour when people start needing to disappear. Trying to think of if you follow Sharon Salzberg on. So I didn't realize this. Now Gabrielle used to sit with when I would do. That's right. You're right, Gabrielle. He does a lot of dream stuff. Yes, heavy Tibetan practice influence, and I think that he's a teacher in one of the Vajrayana schools. The Vajrayana have 4 schools, and Nyingma is the one that I think of right away. Karma Kagyu. Anyway, I can't remember the yellow hat and red hat are the other 2, I think. Dalai Lama's in the yellow hat. So now I've totally washed my brain out from what I was going to say. So Gabrielle used to sit with, I used to do these like lunch hour live streams, which was like not too long after kind of the world got back to normal during pandemic times. And Gabrielle and like, I think there were like 3 or 4 other people that would sit. And I used to use this sit and know that you're sitting a lot. That was a prompt I used, and I always credited Joseph Goldstein with it. I noticed recently on Sharon Salzberg's social media, so one of her social media outlets is, I should say, it's probably on all of them, but I saw it on Instagram, that the sit and know that you're sitting that Joseph Goldstein uses is actually a quote of Munindraji, who was Joseph's teacher in India. So when you hear the stories about kind of like the people that brought Buddhism to, or the Americans that brought Buddhism to North America, usually you hear about Joseph Goldstein, Sharon Salzberg, and Jack Kornfield. And so I didn't realize that the sit and know that you're sitting was a Munindraji reference. So I thought that was really, really cool. If you find that quote, at least on Instagram, it's 2 dogs and saying sit and know that you're sitting, which makes it even more cute. So that is a random one there. If you're curious and you have Netflix, Vox did a meditation explained, I think it's called, but it's in the Vox Presents series on Netflix, and it covers Jack Kornfield, Sharon Salzberg, and why can't I think of his name? Joseph Goldstein. And the influences of, or their practice influences are highlighted kind of in a family tree format. In that video, I thought it's a really good piece highlighting a lot of the Burmese style. So if we think about what they teach is primarily, so we all know Joseph has a very wide and deep background. Primarily insight meditation is what we think of Joseph as having, but he's got a lot of Vajrayana and Zen experience too. But their sort of core practice influences are around the Burmese style, and the Burmese style is a lot about the short moments many times, and the what's referred to in the I think it's Sanskrit, Kanika Samadhi. So it's this like very high concentration, short moments. And it's a similar thing to Shinzen Young, who came up with, or whose system is codified in unified mindfulness. So they're all kind of drawing from very, very similar sources. So anyway, random thing. So if you're looking for something on Netflix to watch, that's a good one. So yeah, I love that phrase too. And like, what do they call it in? That's a great question, Paul. What do they call it in? I think the translation you hear the most is short moments many times, and that's like a way of thinking about it. But Kanika Samadhi is something different. You're right. So Vipassana is the so V means to see, and Pasana can be translated through, or can be see things as they are. And so seeing things as they are is where the insight comes from. So, but yeah, I don't know the technical term now. I'm trying to think about it. When I first started meditating, I was meditating in the insight tradition, and then I switched to Zen pretty early on. And then I did a lot of work I did a lot of retreats in Shinzen's world, which is more like poly meditation, as in like polymath kind of thing, where Shinzen has significant practice experience in all three of the vehicles for Buddhism. So in Vajrayana, in early Buddhism, or Theravada. Theravada would be the other. Theravada is the only surviving school from insight, but if you talk to a Buddha nerd, they'll tell you that that's not the right way of thinking about it. And then there's Zen would be probably the most prominent Mahayana. What is let's really quick. I think it's called Vox Presents, and it's mindfulness. So let's see if we can find it really quick before I let everybody go. Vox Explained. Sorry. And mindfulness is one of the ones. Oh, maybe it's called the mind. All right. So this is where, I don't know if you've ever seen the X-Files, I think it's the very, very last season, where they had the X-Files episode. It's called The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat. And it's all about these things that you think were real from your past, but aren't. Like this idea that Sinbad was in a genie movie in the 80s, but he really never was. But everybody thinks that. So, oh yeah, that's okay. That's okay, bro. I was like half moderating on Monday when I shouldn't have been. So Aaron called me out on it. Like, you can not moderate. But yeah, so I think the mind is that episode, Ruth. And if it's not, you can email me. Yeah, it was. I mean, I can't help it. I'm just trying to plug Jeff stuff. So whenever I can plug Jeff stuff, I'm going to do it. Yeah, and then featured in that Vox Explained is folks that listen to 10% Happier will probably know Mingyur Rinpoche is one of the focus of that. Mingyur Rinpoche and then Matthew Ricard are the two that you probably know the most about, that are considered the Olympic meditators that University of Wisconsin was doing the fMRI studies on. That's like a lot of the early Mind and Life Institute stuff. So yeah, anyway, now I'm rambling, but hopefully it's nerdy, cool rambling. All right. We'll be back next week. I'm going to leave the poodle poll open for a while. So we can figure that out. I think the first window of opportunity would be the 8th of June, that Saturday early morning time slot. So that would be the first chance. So I'll leave it open probably until the 4th, or around the time that I send out a reminder for next week. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Have a great week. And then I won't see you on Sunday, but I will see you Wednesday.